What's up, everybody? If you haven't been living under a rock, you probably know that the US government has been shut down for over a month. They've been fighting over healthcare, in particular, these marketplace enhanced subsidies. These COVID-era subsidies are set to expire at the end of this year, so in just a couple months. It seems both sides have reached an agreement to allow the government to reopen. The extension of these subsidies is not part of that agreement. Trump's also said a whole bunch of stuff about health insurance companies. He says, I'm recommending to Senate Republicans that the hundreds of billions of dollars currently being sent to money-sucking insurance companies in order to save the bad healthcare provided by Obamacare be sent directly to the people. So this is what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to focus on specifically how this affects investments in health insurance companies. If you've been looking at the market, a lot of these health insurance companies are down significantly today. Molina off 7%, Centene off 9%, Elevance down about 4.5%, and the most of all, Oscar is down 18% right now. So first things first, I just want to go over what it is that we're actually talking about. A lot of people don't even know what these subsidies are for. Now, healthcare in the US, it's pretty complicated. You have a bunch of different segments. A lot of people get health insurance through their employer. Those are employer-sponsored plans. You have some people with Medicare, some people with Medicaid, some people who have a plan through the ACA marketplace. And that's even a simplification. You could double click on any one of these sub-segments. Like Medicare, some companies might be offering a prescription drug plan, which is like Part D of Medicare, but then there's Medicare Advantage. That's different. So I understand it can get complicated, and today we're really going to focus on the marketplace. Now, if you hear someone talking about Obamacare or an ACA exchange or the marketplace, the ACA marketplace, whatever, they're basically talking about the same thing. If you don't have health insurance through your employer or through some other government program and you just want to go to healthcare.gov and buy a health insurance plan, that's the marketplace. Right now, there's roughly 24 million people who have a plan through the marketplace. And keep in mind, the population of the US, about maybe 340 million. So this is only 7-ish% of the population that even have a marketplace plan here. Now, looking at this graph, you might be wondering what in the world happened in, 2022 here? Why has it just exploded up and to the right? Well, the answer is they enacted these enhanced subsidies, the thing that the Democrats and Republicans are fighting about right now. Prior to this point, if you were under 400% of the federal poverty level, then you qualified for some subsidy. And for reference, right now, 400% of the federal poverty level for a single person is about $60,000, and for a household of four is maybe about $125,000 to $130,000. It was maybe a little less back in 2021, but pretty similar. So if you were under those levels, you qualified for a subsidy. You see here the blue, almost everyone who has a marketplace plan is getting a subsidy. Now in 2021, we had the American Rescue Plan Act, and that created these enhanced subsidies. If you qualified for a subsidy before, you probably qualified for an even bigger one now. And even if you were over 400% of the federal poverty level, you still qualified for a subsidy if your healthcare premiums were going to be over 8.5% of your income. So basically it capped how much you were going to pay in premiums for healthcare. And look what happened. Man, marketplace exploded. The government was massively subsidizing here, so of course membership ballooned. Well, COVID is over and these enhanced subsidies are set to expire. We've actually been talking about this on the channel for months. It has been my base case that I assumed that these subsidies probably were going to expire. I mean, Trump clearly doesn't want to extend them. And now today, that scenario is looking even more likely because it seems like there's a group of Democrats who are going to agree to reopen the government. Extension of these subsidies is not part of that deal. And yeah, they said that they're going to vote on this and they're going to look at this in December or whatever. They might reach a compromise here. I'm no political expert, but I wouldn't plan on these things being extended forever. So how is this going to affect people? How is this going to affect the insurance companies? For people who are making, just over 400% of the federal poverty level, so for a family of four, we're talking, about $130,000. If you're making just over that level, then yeah, if you have a marketplace plan, your premiums are going to go up a lot. But for these people, the government has been paying for the vast majority of their healthcare for the last 4 years. For a lot of these people, I wouldn't be surprised if they just didn't buy healthcare next year. I mean, you see that the normalized level of people who are getting a marketplace plan looks like it was about, 12 million before these subsidies. So if these subsidies are rolled back, will this number revert to, 12 million? Well, probably not, but membership is going to decrease without these subsidies. You might have some people who are currently on a marketplace plan who would qualify for Medicaid, especially if they're in a state that has expanded Medicaid. So we might see a small bump in Medicaid enrollment, but for a lot of the people that just choose not to buy healthcare, I think they'll probably just go uninsured. Now, what does this mean for the insurance companies if enrollment drops here in Marketplace? Well, that's really going to depend a lot on which company we're talking about. For Elevance and UNH, their exposure to the Marketplace is pretty low. It's a little bit higher for Aetna, which is owned by CVS, and Molina, even higher still for Centene. And then Oscar, who's not on this chart right here, Oscar is fully exposed to the Marketplace. Almost the entirety of Oscar's premiums are coming from ACA exchanges. It's part of the reason I don't own Oscar. I've said I'm waiting until 2026 to see what happens here. I certainly want to know what the aftermath of all this subsidy stuff is going to be before I would even consider investing in Oscar. Most of these companies are going to be okay if their membership for Marketplace drops a bit. In fact, listening to their earnings calls, they all say they're increasing the premiums in Marketplace by, about 30%. The rate increases for Marketplace are going to be way higher than any other segment. And when they talk about a rate increase of 30%, they're talking about the price that they get paid. Regardless of what happens with subsidies, the rates here are going up. And that's because this year, virtually all of these companies are losing money on the Marketplace. Trump says there's hundreds of billions of dollars currently being sent to insurance companies for Marketplace plans. That's a little bit misleading. While it is true that the government is paying the majority of these premiums, it's not like that money is simply profit that can be put in the health insurance company's pocket. They have to pay for the healthcare. They're taking on the risk of paying for these plans. And the cost trend in Marketplace plans has been horrible. Just to look at Molina really quick. Molina, about 10% of their premiums is coming from the Marketplace. The majority of their premiums, it's coming from Medicaid. But while Marketplace is only 10% of membership, it has a huge effect on their bottom line. They're taking massive losses here. Their guidance for the fourth quarter is Medicaid is going to contribute about $3 in earnings per share, and yet the entire company is only going to make like 30-something cents in earnings per share. And why is that? Because they're taking a huge loss in Marketplace. And yes, a little in Medicare as well, but the majority of this loss is really Marketplace. So yeah, for this year, the government might be sending billions of dollars indirectly to insurance companies to subsidize these plans. But it's not like the insurance companies are even making a profit on these plans. They've historically made low single-digit margins on these plans, and this year they are losing quite a bit of money. Many companies don't even want to play this game anymore. Aetna, the third largest insurance company in the country, which is owned by CVS, they say that they are leaving these Marketplace plans in, I think, 17 states. Molina said that they are exiting about 20% of the areas that they currently offer Marketplace plans. Elevance, UNH, Centene, they've all said we're increasing rates and we're okay if that means that membership goes down. So bottom line, what's the effect of these subsidies expiring? What's the effect of what Trump is saying here about insurance companies? Well, it really doesn't change my base case. My base case was that these subsidies would not be extended. I was assuming modest membership decreases for Molina and Centene. When these companies were pricing their plans for 2026, I believe that they were taking this into account. Again, they were increasing rates by 30%. Many of these companies have also talked about a morbidity shift effect where, yeah, the people who drop out of these health insurance plans, they're going to be disproportionately healthy people. The people who stay on are more likely to be people who need healthcare and thus are likely going to be a sicker portion of the population. So we'll see what this does to margins in this segment next year, but I actually expect margins to improve simply because of how much they are increasing rates. This really was not a surprise. Remember, I was saying months ago that I didn't think that these subsidies would be extended, and I don't think that these companies were planning on it either. As far as Trump and any other regulation and stuff that could happen here, I think it's probably likely that the big beautiful bill will be the only piece of legislation this term that will have a significant impact on healthcare. I could be wrong, I don't know, but that's kind of my base case. As far as what that means for our investments, first of all, Oscar, I'm still not touching Oscar. They're 100% exposed to the Marketplace. Unlike Elevance or UNH, this is probably a big deal for them. If these subsidies disappear, if Marketplace enrollment overall decreases significantly, yeah, that's going to be a pretty big hit to Oscar. So as I said in the past, I personally would wait here. As always, this is not advice to buy or sell anything. I just give you my opinion and I tell you what I'm doing with my money. And for me, I'm not putting my money in Oscar. Now, let's just briefly talk about Molina. I said recently, I thought Molina is value. I think that they're cheap. To quickly relook at my base case of Molina, I was assuming revenue growth of 5% a year for 5 years. Now, keep in mind, the amount that they are increasing rates is significantly greater than 5%. So this base case is actually assuming a slight decrease in membership. I'm assuming operating margins can get back to about 4%. Management says that they think that they can get to 4.5. We're not giving them credit for that here. Again, for Molina, much of the story here is going to be about how they perform in Medicaid. Right now, it looks like they're doing very well. Their margins in Medicaid are actually higher than pretty much all of their peers. With only 10% of their premiums coming from Marketplace, I don't think I'm going to change my base case here. I'm only giving them an 8 times multiple in this case, and we see in this scenario that if these assumptions come true, you're looking at more than a triple on Molina over 5 years. This is a company with a net cash position. They're well run, and while they sold off a ton today, I actually bought more. I chose to add to my Molina position at $140. As always, I have no clue if this is the bottom. It might go lower, but I think risk reward looks good. As always, if you got value out of the video, subscribe to the channel. If you agree or disagree with anything I said, leave that down in a comment below. If you want to make spreadsheets like this or just support what I do, consider following me on Patreon, and I hope to see you all in another video.